All right, guys, I appreciate your patience. It looks like we have video back. I have no idea why it wasn't working, but sometimes just a simple reboot, restart will get you going. So just remember that in life. But here we go. We'll get back on track. We got our lesser female going into breeding this year. Gonna try to create some het puzzles from her. So whoever just joined, thank you for sticking around. I apologize. It looks like there was some connection issues, but I think we got it resolved. Here's a puzzle project snake. It is a pastel calico male het puzzle. So pretty cool stuff. And that's going to be our focus here at Geeky Gecko Creations. As far as ball pythons is concerned, we're going to lay heavy into the puzzle project because we believe in it, we love it, we support it, and we think it's one of the next big projects on the way. So if you haven't yet, maybe consider it, potentially look into it. I am just spot cleaning the ball pythons right now, but I'm doing this as a celebration of hitting 1,000 subscribers, thanks to you guys, which means I'm able to do super chats now, which just helps Geeky Gecko Creations get closer to its goal and its dream of opening up its own facility. So any super chats or any super stickers that people participate with, that's what it's going to go towards today, opening up our own facility so we can breed more, have more combinations, and just help you make more of the most of your personal infatuation with the hobby. But let's see, living in Coral Springs, what do you put in the hide box for leopard geckos? I put something called Eco Earth. I will show you in a second, but to me, it's the absolute best thing that you can use. Let me go get a brick if I have one. Sorry, I don't have any bricks, but it's called Eco Earth, and it is the fine substrate version of this. This is called coconut husk or cocoa block, Reptile, Pro Cocoa. That's what this is for ball pythons. It's just the finer version for leopard geckos. I mean, it's not for leopard geckos, so don't look for the words for leopard geckos, but it's called Eco Earth. Good stuff. You'll never need anything else. So if y'all got any more questions, just feel free to ask away. I'm just going to be here a while, just staying live. So if you have to go and then you remember a question, come on back, because I'm so excited to use my super chat and super sticker feature. And I just want to send that to the moon and back and answer your guys' questions, as well as just help our company grow, help our business grow here, so we can provide more for ourselves and yourselves. So what I'm doing right now is the ball python tubs are actually a little bit more humid than I would like. So I'm taking some dry coconut husk and I'm mixing it with the already moist coconut husk that is in here, therefore creating the perfect humidity consistency that we're looking for. Here we go, one more time before he goes away. This is a pastel calico het male breeder ball python. All right, guys, we got a nice little cinnamon here. So cinnamon, a beautiful dark morph. as you can see. And we are going to see how she's looking on humidity here. Now her cage is perfectly dry, so we're actually going to give a little bit of a spray to her cage, but I'm also spot cleaning right now. I'm checking for any poo or any pee from the snakes. This will save your guys' lives as well. Get one of these, 12 bucks at Walmart. Amazing. Good for leopard geckos, good for ball pythons, just good for spraying down bearded dragons, sailfin dragons, the works. It's just good for reptiles in general. So with ball pythons, you don't want it too humid in here. You want to go, oh, there's a urate right there. You want the substrate mostly dry most of the week until you see, most of the month until you see them shedding. Once you see them shedding, then you want to moisten it a little bit. But the reason I'm moistening it right now is because this is probably one of the least dusty substrates when it comes to, you know, substrates for reptiles. But even this is a little bit dusty and you don't want your snakes breathing it in. So just giving it a quick spray over the top and just kind of mixing it around a little bit just creates a little bit of moisture to stick to the dust so that the dust is not breathed in by your animals. So same thing goes for the eco earth of the leopard geckos. Just keep that kind of moist. In my records, it probably takes 1 or 2 times a week to spray it down, and that's about it. So see, it's not bad, not too wet. All right, let's take a look at that cinnamon girl one more time. Beautiful. You can hear her. She's not too happy, but she's a beautiful girl. I love what Cinnamon does, what Puzzle does with Cinnamon. So I'm really excited to work Puzzle into our Cinnamon ball pythons and create some Cinnamon puzzles and combos. Now, just for being faithful, you 3 are in for a treat because this is probably one of our most expensive and most prettiest puzzle snakes. This is a super pastel puzzle girl. She'll be ready for breeding next year, so it's going to take a little bit of time. But you can see why the puzzle gene is just so amazing. It just creates these really cryptic-looking, puzzle piece-looking patterns on the animal. And also, as I like to say it, it throws muscles. So you'll see stuff like that. It looks like someone's flexing their muscle. So it's pretty cool. That one is super pastel, visual puzzle, nothing else in her, but we have some powerful males that are going to be mixed with her to create like leopard puzzles and cinnamon puzzles, lesser puzzles, all kinds of stuff. All right, it's actually starting to hurt my back standing, and this way you can see a little bit of my face. I can be a little bit more interactive with you. But thank you guys for being here. Please shoot any questions if you got them. The point, again, of this super chat is just to say thank you to you guys who have supported this channel. We are now over 1,000 subscribers. We have been partnered with YouTube officially. So YouTube is just another platform that we could use to help grow this business, to grow awareness to this hobby as a whole. It's just a great platform just to speak from about reptiles, and I'm so thankful to be a part of it with you guys here. So this is a little dry. There's some urate there. So usually spot cleaning ball pythons is pretty simple. It seems like a waste, but it's worth it. You just go ahead and scoop out any poo or pee that you see. And just kind of filter through. If you do find some poo stuck to the plastic, use a vinegar spray, just vinegar that you buy from the food store. You don't have to distill it. I do a half and half, so I buy it from the food store and then I fill the bottle half with vinegar, half with water, because it's pretty strong straight from the store, but it's not going to hurt your animals. It's animal safe, so it's a good spot cleaner for glass, etc. And use your handy dandy sprayer just to kind of mist a layer of water to hold all that dust down and whatnot. Then you can put your animal back. So here's that puzzle again. Look at those beautiful markings that the puzzle has. Simply amazing. Look at that face. The head stamp on the puzzle is pretty cool. It usually breaks the pattern on the back of the neck right there to create like an arrowhead type pattern. It's one of the coolest morphs, guys. It's definitely going to become more popular and be on the rise here over the next year or so. It's really going to start blowing up as more people find out about it. So get in now if you're able to. I'm going to get more paper towels real quick. Be right back. All right. Hope that wasn't too long there. Well, let me know, guys. Hit me with the questions. Hit me with what you got. Or if you're just here to see some cool animals, then we will do that for you. This is a calico female het puzzle. So I showed you the male that was calico pastel het puzzle. This is calico het puzzle female. Let's check out her container here, see how she is doing. We got a little bit of urates down yonder. So again, spray, not a lot, just a single spray or so. Grab a couple paper towels for the first dose and just kind of wipe and clean. And the vinegar acts as a semi-disinfectant. So it's not going to disinfect everything, but as far as disinfectants are concerned, it disinfects some, bacteria and some viruses or whatever, like little harmful things to your snakes. It disinfects it a little bit. It's just that little extra edge that it gives you. So why not, right? And since this is humid, I'm just wiping down some of the water on the sides here, because my goal is I don't want this to be too humid for the snakes. So again, that humidity level for ball pythons is probably that 40 to 60% range. And how that translates, let me just put it this way. In a rack system where there's much less airflow than in a tank, you want the substrate barely wet, if I can describe it that way. So I'm going to show it to you right now. That darker substrate is wet. The lighter substrate is dry. You want about a 50-50 ratio of that. And when I say wet, it's not even that wet. Look, like nothing is dripping out of it when I squeeze it. It's just barely holding some moisture. Okay. My wife has rehearsal for something. It might be singing or dancing related. Cocoa down. Okay, so I'm happy with this dryness here. I'm happy with this amount of moisture and humidity. We've noticed with our new rack system, holds humidity a little bit better than our last one. So that's why I'm going through today and just making sure everything is more dry rather than less dry. So for the person that just tuned in, here we go. We're cleaning some snakes, answering some questions today on any reptile-related topic, but I'm cleaning the ball pythons while doing this. And thanking you guys for being a supporter of Geeky Gecko Creations, because we hit over 1,000 subscribers. We're now eligible to be YouTube partnered, do super chats, all that good stuff. So this is a calico het puzzle female. And you guys who are here are in for another treat. this is another one of our most expensive / prettiest puzzle snakes. And there you can clearly see the muscle patterns that are indicative of the puzzle gene. This is a cryptic visual puzzle, super pastel or just regular pastel. If you look at the neck, it has a very like giraffe-like pattern on the neck. It's super cool. The head stamp, again, is kind of like an arrowhead, how the neck pattern gets broken right behind the head. Oh, Kevin, what's up, man? Can I see your most favorite leopard gecko after you're done with this? You know what, Kevin? For you, I will do that. I usually don't like touching one species to another, so I'll go wash my hands real quick and then grab it for you. So beautiful white belly. Okay, we're gonna put her down. So I just need to spot clean this, and then yeah, why not? Why can't I get my favorite gecko? Let me think of who is my favorite gecko. I might have to grab two, Kevin. Matter of fact, I will grab two. So when you're spraying with vinegar, you don't have to worry about if there's some residue in the cage because vinegar is reptile safe. You'll see people who own pet stores, they will spray with vinegar all the time, just straight onto the glass. It's a good glass cleaner, as well as slight disinfectant. And I say slight because it's not as good as like bleach or something, but bleach you cannot spray directly into your animal's enclosure. That will harm their lungs. It will harm, most likely, their skin over time. Bleach is a very strong chemical. You don't want to spray bleach directly into the enclosure, only when the animal is not in it. And then you rinse off the bleach before putting the animal back in. So that's when we do our deep cleans, that's when we use bleach. But for spot cleaning, which is just daily, we just use a vinegar mix. So, whoa, one more time. The cryptic, which is a new genetic in ball pythons, there's still a lot to be learned about it. The cryptic visual puzzle pastel female going into breeding next year. But you could see just the contrast on her. She's amazing. Came from Aussie Boids. So Kevin, I really want to have a pet snake, but my parent would have killed me. Same with my mom. That's why I grew up with geckos first. And sometimes I would sneak snakes into the house. For example, if I had 5 lizards already, maybe sometimes she wouldn't notice if I added another snake. It sounds bad, but that's how I got away with some animals in our house when I was growing up. But now that I have my own home and married and everything, it's great just to be able to have a room or multiple rooms dedicated to just reptiles. So let me put this guy away and I will show you my 2 favorite geckos. So again, if you were just handling one species, you want to wash your hands with soap and water, typically before heading to the next species. It's not completely necessary. It's probably it's just a risk mitigator, right? And so because I'm working with so many species and I have to sell animals as well as keep my own animals healthy, it's a good precaution for mine. So welcome back, Serena. Thank you for coming. Jelly Beans babies. We have, I think, 3 or 4 babies from Jelly Beans so far. They are growing greatly, and I will show that to you right now after I show my 2 favorite geckos. Oh, I didn't need to bring her tub, I guess. But so here is one of my favorite geckos. The gecko that basically started it all for us here at Geeky Gecko Creations. You can see she's 2 years old now. As they get older, their color will fade slightly. But for a 2-year-old girl who has been breeding 2 or 3 seasons in a row already, she still has maintained a ton of orange. She looks patternless, just like Charmander, except the female version. But my next favorite gecko is her babies. And so whenever you're dealing with line breeding, and I'm going to do a video on this, but whenever you're dealing with line breeding, the babies can actually come out deeper of a color than the parents. And so as nicely orange as this gecko is, we have a couple of babies that have come out even more orange. So I know the lighting is not great here, but I'm going to go get you 2 other geckos that came out more orange than her, and then we'll take a look at Jelly Bean's babies. So this is actually a special genetic that's pretty rare called red stripe. And as you look on her back, the lighting's not great, but you can see 2 red stripes that go right down the middle of the back. This is that last gecko's baby. And you can see that even though the lighting's not great, she is more orange than the last gecko. She's also not albino. When you get albino geckos and you mix it with the orange, the tangerine becomes a little bit brighter of a color versus if they're not albino, the tangerine becomes a little bit darker of an orange. So I hope that makes sense. What's up, Sam? Gecko, oh, I thought it was a kitty. Did the kitty jump up on the desk? Because she's here. Watch her, guys. Scream at me if you see her running around because I need to keep an eye on her from getting to the geckos. She chases lizards in the backyard and stuff. So I always joke with my wife. I'm like, she's taking it out on the lizards in the backyard because she knows she can't touch the lizards in the house. So this is Fuego. We called her Fuego, which means fire, because it's very tough to tell, but she's one of our most orange geckos. But let me get you the most orange gecko we have. Guys, this is just a test, but in the chat, can you look to see if Super Chat and Super Stickers are available? Because I would love to do that one day. I do not have a Patreon right now, but that's a very good point because I want to create a Patreon soon in the future and do giveaways. For example, if you're a monthly contributor, whatever that might be, in a certain range, like let's say it's like $0 to $10 in the first tier, I'll do a giveaway for that tier every like 3 months. And if you're in the higher tier, like $20 to $50, $20 to $40 tier or something, I'll do an even more expensive giveaway, like every half a year or something like that. I just need to figure out all the numbers and figure out how many people I need in each tier to make it worth it for me to be able to give the geckos away and whatnot financially. But this is very tough to see with the lighting, but this is actually our most orange gecko. It's not really catching on the camera, but it is great. Thank you so much. I mean, I love the support. That's my goal, is to be a helpful support to people, because when I was first learning this trade and looking at YouTubers, that's exactly the way I learned. But to anybody who does want to help out today, please take a look to see if there is a super chat or super sticker function, and at least let me know, because I just got monetized with YouTube. I just got partnered with them, which means that I am able to start doing super chats, which is like donations. And so all of the donations in this super chat today is going to go towards helping Geeky Gecko Creations get into a bigger facility. Right now, we're running out of my house, we have taken up 3 rooms out of my house, which my wife has graciously surrendered, plus our backyard. But we would love to get into a large facility for breeding so that we can just breed thousands of animals. So that is the goal. Yeah, no problem, Serena. Absolutely. I just titled this super chat just for anybody who had the availability or desire. But ask your questions away. I mean, ask them away and I will answer. Super chat or not super chat. Yeah, tax return. I'm waiting on that one too. So she's blending it with your shirt. Yeah, that's, oh, this is actually a he. And so that's one of the exciting things about this guy is that he's a male, which means we're going to breed him to as many tangerine females as we can next year, because since he's the most orange gecko that we have, he will produce the most orange babies. And that's how line breeding works. So let me see if I missed any questions here. She kind of looks orange. Guys like the video. I have my first gecko in January this year, and now I already have 11. Wow, yes, you are obsessed, but it is a good obsession. Not even want to be a breeder. Yeah, you don't want to be a breeder right now, but I'm sure you will be as time goes on. It just goes hand in hand. Should I breed my leopard gecko I got from the pet store? So that's a good question. There's a lot of people in the gecko community that believe that you should not breed a gecko if you don't know the genetics of that gecko. That's completely their opinion. That's completely up to them. Me personally, I like breeding geckos, whether I know the genetics or whether I don't know the genetics. And sometimes I like to guess on the genetics and then try to figure it out with breeding. For example, if I got a gecko from the pet store that I think is a snow gecko, then I will breed it with like what I know is a snow gecko for sure and see if the babies come out snow or super snow. That's called test breeding, and that's perfectly fine. Everyone has their own opinions and everyone has their own desires in how they want to breed. But for me personally, as long as you're honest and upfront with people, if you sell those babies and you tell them, hey, look, I don't know the genetics of this baby. Here's what I think it is. Take the chance on it or leave it. Take it or leave it, perfectly fine. And that's kind of my perspective on it. I will never sell an animal that I'm claiming is something if I'm unsure or if I don't know if it is that genetic. Or at minimum, I'm going to let the person know, hey, I think that this is snow, or I think that this is blah, 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 versus other geckos that I sell that I know for sure are that genetic. So I hope that makes sense. The reason I say that is because, there's sometimes people in this hobby that will get down on you for breeding an animal whose genetics you don't know. And I am not one of those people. Unfortunately, sometimes you go through those things. And I've had people say to me, hey, you shouldn't breed geckos that you don't know the genetics for. But that whole shouldn't do kind of thing is just a way to control you to do what they think that you should do, if that makes sense. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with breeding a gecko with unknown genetics. I want more so bad. I've talked with you before about what I should breed Orangel. You helped me figure out what he is. Yeah, no problem. Albino Eclipse, great. I always love trying to ID geckos, right? So if you have a gecko, email me or send me a private message on Facebook and you're like, hey, what's the genetics of this gecko? I will try to ID the gecko for you. Now, some genetics are easy to tell what is in that gecko. Some genetics are hard or impossible to tell what's in that gecko. But as breeders, we look for little indicators or we look for little markers of indication of what a gecko could actually be. So, okay, thank you. Because I have 2 geckos that I got from the pet store. One looks like a Max Snow, the other looks like a Jungle. Yeah, so you're perfectly fine there. And just to give you a heads up, Jungle is just a line bred trait. And I'm going to do a video on this, but line bred traits are not necessarily the same as mutation traits that we consider. Snow is a mutation trait. Jungle is a pattern alterning trait, but it is not necessarily a mutation trait in the sense that we call a mutation. This might sound kind of weird, But like in human beings, blue eyes is a mutation. The reason that it's a mutation is because brown eyes are the dominant color in human beings, at least as far as we can tell. You go all the way back to the original lineage of Adam and Eve, or like the first two people. I'm guessing this is just for the analysis of explaining what a mutation is. Let's say the first two human beings, their eyes were brown. Then statistically, their baby's eyes should be brown, and it continued to be brown for a long time until eventually some mutations started to happen in the human DNA, and we got blue eyes, green eyes, hazel eyes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We got all these different, different kind of combinations and mutations. So I don't know if that's making complete sense, but a mutation is different than a line-bred trait. A line-bred trait is similar to like height in human beings. So a tall human having babies with another tall human is going to produce tall babies. Not because the tall gene is a mutation, but just because that person has tall genetics inside of it, and the other person has tall genetics inside of it, and therefore the babies will automatically inherit those tall genetics. I hope that makes sense. I need to think of a better way to explain this, but when do you post videos? Every week if I can. I don't have a schedule. I'm going to be doing more live streams, guys. I'm going to be doing a ton of live streams because, especially now that I'm partnered with YouTube and monetized, it doesn't hurt me any to just do stuff like this while I'm cleaning, like doing stuff that I would be doing anyway. And I would get to interact with you guys, answer questions, give you guys a platform to interact with each other. So I hope you enjoy that. You can interact with each other in the super chat and ask each other questions and ask me questions, and we can all just, be a community. And that's one of the things that I love so much about the ball python community. They do this stuff all the time. And so I hope to bring that to the other reptile communities as well. Leopard geckos, ball pythons, bearded dragons, whatever the case may be. If you got a reptile question, ask away, because I've kept a lot of different species. I focus on leopard geckos and ball pythons, but I know a lot about different species. So kind of nervous about breeding because I want to know exactly what I'm doing and don't want to mess up somehow. But I've been doing a bunch of research about breeding. That is good. Same thing with me. I am an OCD fanatic. I obsessively obsess over trying to figure out what is the best way to do something. But similar to raising a baby in this world, there's many different ways to do something. As long as you figure out one of those ways that has worked for a breeder in the past and you choose it because you stick with it and you like it, then by all means, go ahead and do that. Yes, more live stream with Leos. Absolutely. So I'm going to go put this guy back. I'm going to show a couple of jelly beans babies, and then I need to get back to cleaning so that I can, get the ball pythons cleaned here. So I'll be right back. Okay, this is probably one of the coolest babies I've ever produced, guys. And it is from Jelly Bean. So let's see. Babies are usually a little difficult to handle. But look at that bold stripe down the back of this gecko. Look at that thing. I have never produced a gecko like that. It is absolutely insane. And that's from an eclipse mom. And usually eclipse removes pattern a lot. So the fact that there's a full bold stripe down the back of this baby is simply incredible. Now, our goal with the eclipse project is to get eclipse geckos that have all red eyes and are more and more and more orange. The reason is because when you add eclipse into tangerine, the eclipse gene takes away a little bit of the color of the tangerine. And so the only way to go against that is to line breed the most orange eclipse geckos back to back to back with other orange eclipse geckos. As you breed orange eclipse geckos with more orange eclipse geckos, you will continue to enhance the orange characteristic in the Eclipse line specifically. So FR. The father gecko was Maui. Maui is currently our most brightest orange adult leopard gecko that we have. The baby that I showed you just a second ago, the juvenile, he's actually our most orange gecko, but he wasn't ready for breeding this year. So Maui was before him. Maui was older than him, able to breed, and Maui was a stud this year, guys. He bred with like 10 different females. He repaired with like half of those females, you know, every couple of clutches. He's amazing. So if you guys got male geckos that are under a year old, so far that seems to be the most vigorous breeders. Now, this isn't the case in all instances, but sometimes when you get the older geckos, the older male geckos, sometimes they're a little bit bigger and bulkier. They tend to like not be as ambitious to breed. This is the other baby of Jelly Bean. And so you can see this one is an albino for sure. The other one was not an albino. So let's see if we could get one more picture of this striped tangerine eclipse. Ooh, before putting them away. Look at that. Oh, they're so light, and I'm very close to this tub, so don't worry, it's not hurting them. I'm keeping an eye on them, and that's why I'm using two hands here. But look at that stripe. Pretty amazing, I'd have to say. And that's me who sees these geckos all the time. When I say something is amazing, then you know it's amazing because I've hatched not too many, but I've hatched, you know, dozens and dozens of geckos, and that's one of the most unique ones that I've hatched yet. So you have seen Oren. He's very orange. That's why Oren, yeah, he could participate. What do you think of breeding a male Diablo Blanco with a female tangerine albino and a female lemon frost? Let me answer Living Coral Springs question real quick. Two-part question. What do you think of breeding a male Diablo Blanco with a female tangerine albino? That's perfectly fine. If you have a Diablo Blanco, that means that you have Blizzard, Eclipse, and Tremper albino. Oh, what? Chameleones, my first super chat, dude. You get a huge shout out, dude. That feels good right there. You hit me up with it, bro. I appreciate that, man. I won't forget that. When your channel's up and running and you're doing live streams too, I'm going to hit you up, bro. Appreciate that, Chameleones. Shout out to you. I don't think there was a question attached to it, but if you have a question, I will look to it, and I appreciate that. So Chameleones, check him out on Facebook and Instagram. You could put your Facebook and Instagram in the chat, Chameleones, and people can go check you out too. Yeah, I know, Serena. Look, that's pretty cool. My first one, so I will definitely shout you out, man. Yeah, so we're going to start posting geckos that are for sale soon. What we want to do, guys, and don't hate us for this, but we're scheduled to hatch about 300 geckos this year, and we want to hold back half to 3/4 of those so that next year we can provide for you guys the best quality and vast amounts, give you the best pricing on the market. The larger the collection we have, the better pricing we can do, and the more that we can provide for you guys. So if you're patient with us and stick around, we're definitely going to have some for sale this year, but our big year is really going to be next year, because if we hold back 150 babies this year and they all breed for us next year, we're going to have like 1,000 babies next year, and that'll be our really big year. So there you go. Facebook is J Chameleones de Velo. So check him out. He's pretty cool. My first super chat, so show that man some love and support. Going back to Coral Springs question, a Diablo Blanco is 3 recessive traits: Blizzard, Tremper albino, and Eclipse. If you bred that to a female that is only albino, that means that you will get 100% albino babies that are heterozygous for heterozygous for Blizzard and heterozygous for Eclipse, but they won't be visual Eclipse and they won't be visual Blizzard. And to go to your lemon frost question, the same thing would apply to that. All of the babies will be non-visual, but 100% het for Tremper albino, Eclipse, and Blizzard. And the thing that you need to be careful with lemon frost is they do have this thing where some of them tend to grow tumors as time goes on. You know that I am working that project. The goal of the project here is to purify that bloodline so that we can eliminate out those tumors 100% or as much as possible. But I just need to put that disclaimer out there. Anyone who is breeding lemon frost, be careful. Some pretty nasty tumors can occur, and I just want to make sure that you're aware of that. And if anyone sells you a gecko, that you're aware of that. So let's see. Questions are really rolling in. Got a super chat. Want to buy a couple. Facebook, 45, 38 eggs. That's pretty amazing. That means you must have a ton of females. You're doing it right then, Jay. You always, if you want to grow your collection, you need more females than males, because one male can breed to like 10 females, but only one female can breed to one male a year, if that makes sense. So if you have one stud male, you could breed him to like 10 okay females and you'll get like 50 decent babies, if that makes sense. So there's a link to your YouTube. Yeah, I believe he does have a YouTube. Pretty cool. Jay Chameleones, once again, my first super chat. I appreciate it. I'm going to return these guys, get back to cleaning, and you guys talk amongst yourselves as well as ask questions to me while I'm cleaning. I will answer those questions. So what do you guys think about scheduled videos? Is that better for people? Do people want scheduled videos more, or spontaneity? Like this video, I just started spontaneous tonight because I'm excited that I am now YouTube, partnered, and I had some chores to do, but I want to interact with the community and just provide a platform where people could interact. So maybe both works. Maybe do some planned videos, but also do some non-planned ones as well. Because I have one other partner in the business, Greg, which you'll see more of as well. But I'm mainly the one that's here running the day-to-day operations. So there's a lot to do. My goal is to produce as much videos as possible. And I can usually shoot and edit a video all in one day now, like per topic. So throw out some topics, and it is my goal to make videos on those topics. And so it's been a while since I've been someone starting out in this hobby. That's why I'm very interested to hear, what are your beginner questions? What are some video topics that you think we could be successful at here? Or what are some experience level topics that you're interested in hearing about? So super chat those into the chat, or just drop them into the chat, and I will write down all of those topics and try to do some videos on that. So the way you donate, Jay, is if you look in the super chat, there's a little $ button at the very bottom next to the smiley face, and you hit that. And I've done it once myself. It asks you for like your credit or debit card information, and then you just do it, and it's like a one-time thing. or it's per transaction. So every super chat you want to do, it will take that information from you. So, but it's secure and safe though. What type of incubator do you guys recommend? Reptibator. Too bad super chat stickers are not available in my area. It says, oh yeah, some countries or whatever, or some areas, they are not available, which is weird. So Kevin, where are you again? I'm just curious. But the type of incubator, let me show you. So this is called a Hova baiter. You actually get it from your Tractor Supply store. It opens up and it has a heating element right there. The way that you turn the dial, it's either hotter or colder. Now, I need to mention with the Hova baiter, it has no temperature setting. So it's very important that you get a thermostat from Amazon. You can get like 4 of them for like $5 off Amazon. Just like the little fish tank ones with the probe. Just type, reptile or fish thermostats. And you put the thermostat, whoa, it just went blurry there. You put the thermostat where the eggs are. So let's say this was the egg container sitting at the bottom of my incubator. Put the thermostat right on top of the container because that's going to give you the closest temperature to where the eggs are sitting 1 inch underneath that. And then you turn the dial hotter or colder until you get your desired temperature. So I hope that makes sense. Bali, Indonesia. That's why, yeah, some countries don't have it, but welcome, man. I wonder what time it is there. And yeah, Jay, the refrigerator ones that you make yourself are great. It just takes a little bit extra work. You have to research it on YouTube. How do I build an incubator? Or how do I build a refrigerator incubator? And if you think you can do that, then go ahead and do it. But those Hova baiters, they're like $50. You can find them on Craigslist. You can find them on Amazon. You can find them on eBay probably. But my recommendation, if you're just starting, buy a Reptibator. Reptibator is the same price as a Hova baiter, except it does have a digital program thermostat on it, and it's just a little better visually for you to look at as a new person in breeding. You still need a thermostat at the very bottom of the Reptibator because Reptibator's temperature gauge, I don't know why they do this, but the temperature gauge for Reptibator is all the way at the top, and heat rises. So if you set it to 90, it's going to be 90 degrees at the top of the incubator, but it's only going to be like 85 degrees at the bottom or 87. So that's why you need a thermostat and put it at the bottom so you can keep track of the temperature. And if you need to set it to 92 so that it's 90 at the bottom where the thermostat is, then that's just what you have to do. That's what I do. So. Oh, what? Jay, you're awesome, Jay. You guys are both awesome. Chameleonis and Jay. I'm wondering what would happen if you breed a Inferno to a blood. So, thank you for the question, Jay. Whenever you have line bred traits, for example, Tangerine is a line bred trait, you will have multiple breeders that bred geckos over the course of 10 years to get them more and more and more orange. So you take gecko that has orange, you take another gecko that has orange, you combine those two together, and their babies will have more orange than the parents. And then you do that over and over again for 10 years. And then you finally get the most orange geckos that you can have. That's what the Inferno breeder did. And he created his own specific known line of orange geckos called Inferno. The blood breeder did the same thing, created his own specific line called Blood. Ron Tremper did his and created his own specific line of oranges called Tangelos, which are tangerine and albino, but those are the most oranges that he created. We here at Geeky Gecko Creations, we are working with Tangerine. We're working with Inferno and Tangelo lines. So Ron Tremper's line and whoever created the Inferno line, I don't even know who that is, but whoever created that line and focused on it, we are creating our own line now from those two. And every year we are breeding the most orange geckos together and creating geckos that have this orange slash bright green contrast. And we are going to call our specific line of Tangerine. 5 years goes by, we're going to call our specific line of Tangerine after a fruit or something. There's a Filipino fruit called calamansi, I think. My business partner is Filipino. And so he was telling me it's this fruit that is like deep orange and green or something like that. So because our specific line of Tangerine focuses on bright orange and bright green at the same time, we want to name our specific line in accordance with that. So if you have some name recommendations, drop them as well. So 2 Infernos and 2 Bloods and working on. Yeah, Jay, so that's perfectly fine. Whenever you're dealing with line breeding, you have the right, because you're putting in the work to create something new and unique. You have the right to name that whatever you want if you do. So Inferno, Blood, Mandarin, and Tangelo, those are just the 4 most popular top names that have stuck. But there's nothing to say that somebody can't create a 5th category when you breed all of these together to create a different line of focused orange geckos. So in some way, it does. I was going to say, in some way, all of these geckos are related anyway, because most likely the guy who named the line of geckos Blood, most likely he used some Infernos to make his Bloods, or he used some of Ron Tremper's Tangelos to make his Bloods. Same thing with us. We're creating our own specific line of orange that we want to be known for. But where did it come from? It came from Ron Tremper's Tangelo. It came from whoever invented the Inferno. So I hope that makes sense. But how many eggs would my females lay total? Somewhere in the 2nd year. So that's a good question. Ron Tremper did a catalog of when his females were most productive. His females, for him, based on his data, were most productive in years 3, 4, and 5, and then it started tapering off after that. Now, it could be different for you. It could be different for me, so do some data. I have a 1st-year female that laid, she's on her 8th clutch this season. That's 16 eggs for a 1st-year female. That is ridiculous. Most 1st-year females are averaging between 6 to 8 eggs. This girl popped out 16 as a 1st-year female. So anything can happen, but keep track of that data. I also have a spreadsheet of how we keep track of our breeders and babies. If you want that, let me know. I'm going to start making it available to people as I fine-tune it and get it down to a shareable version. I can share that with you guys, and it'll be provided for you. So can you explain about black hole gecko, please? Maybe you mean black knight? I love that more. People say when you look at their eyes, it's like staring at a black hole, but I don't know about black hole looks like. What is the black hole, Kevin? Maybe you can tell me a little bit more about that. Maybe it has a different name than what we're used to calling it here. If it's an all-black gecko, then we call that the black knight here. One of your first laid 12 eggs and had more eggs in her, and yes, yeah, so there you go. But if you're talking about the black knight gecko, Kevin, it is another line bred trait. So people noticed some dark geckos that they had 12 years ago, and they've been breeding those geckos. 12 years later, we have the black knights now. So since black knights are so heavily inbred, what we are focusing on here at Geeky Gecko Creations as well, we're taking the high quality black knights we have and we are outcrossing them to Afghanicus, Fasciolatus, Turkmenicus, pure bloodlines to strengthen that up. Black hole is, Enigma. That's why, because I don't work with the Enigma right now. But the Enigma gene, so Eclipse, I'm sure you know what Eclipse is. It's the gene that creates the all solid color eyes. Sometimes you could have snake eye, like a half eye. Or sometimes you could have partial of the eye, like just a sliver of the eye that's shaded in. And then Max Snow, I'm sure you know what that is. That's just one of the snow versions that makes the gecko appear a little bit more faded out in color. The Enigma is the special formula in there that makes that really unique. Now, the Enigma is a gene that does come with a lot of people who breed Enigma find that their Enigma geckos are hard to keep alive, hard to eat, hard to grow, because they have some kind of neurological issue where they spin around sometimes. They're a little bit wobbly. Not all of them do, but some of them do. And for that reason, there's only a handful of breeders that work with them. Other breeders decided not to work with them. Personally, I had an Enigma gecko that I actually had to put down. I had to put it to sleep because it was slowly dying. I couldn't get it to eat. It wasn't living. It wasn't functioning. That's an extreme case. Not every case is like that. But because I had to go through that, I kind of took a break from the Enigma until maybe I think that there's a solution for that genetics to get better. And maybe it's outcrossing. I don't know. Maybe it's crossing it into Afghanicus, Fasciolatus, Turkmenicus, those pure bloodlines. But I don't know. And until I know, I'm probably not going to be buying too much into Enigma. A white and yellow Inferno looks fantastic. If you go to suburbangeckos.com, he has some of the most beautiful white and yellow tangerines. And you'll see they're just bright orange. And, because the white and yellow makes every color brighter. So if the orange is already bright and you add white and yellow to it, it's just information overload, genetic overload. It's amazing. All right, guys, I apologize. I'm going to get back to cleaning here, but I'm keeping an eye on everything. This is our spider spot nose female that's going into breeding. We hope to make some het puzzles with her this year. And we are checking for poop. We are checking for urates. We're checking for too much moisture, and we're solving for all of those problems right now. All in one. That could be the name of a cool gecko company, all-in-one reptiles or all-in-one geckos. So if you have a reptile company or you're thinking of a name, let me know your name and we can kind of help you out and see if it's a good name, or if you want us to vote on it, we can vote on it. All right, nice juicy poo there. Ooh, that's a stinker, guys. Some poos are more stinky than other poos. Just remember that. So after you collect the poo, if it was stuck to the plastic a little bit, you just spray some vinegar on it, and the vinegar will most likely get that off. That's one of the benefits of these plastic tubs that you work with from Walmart. The plastic is so what's the word? It does not allow stuff to stick to it very easily. So it's good for that sense. All right, so this tub is a little more humid than I would like. So we're going to mix this substrate really well. And we are also going to wipe down some of this extra dew and water residue that I am finding here on the sides. This tub's not too bad, but it is just a little bit more than personally I want. So now that that's done, look for any poo you missed, any urates you missed, and mix the dry substrate with the moist substrate. If you have a moist environment, you could do this every couple of days, and it really helps. So, yeah, I have a Max No Enigma, white and yellow, pretty cool. But low syndrome, that's a good example. Some of them have low syndromes. They can eat by themselves, and that's perfectly fine. Like I said, I personally don't work with the Enigma right now, but I might have a desire to in the future. If I need to research a little bit more to see if anybody has tried outcrossing them into Afghanicus, Turkmenicus, Fasciolatus, those pure bloodlines, because sometimes those pure bloodlines help strengthen up the DNA of the gecko to avoid genetic defects. So I also have a super hyper white and yellow pos het Eclipse, and she acts like she has a swaying head problem, and I'm not sure why. Sometimes I've never had a white and yellow that ever had a problem, but there are some people that say that white and yellow have neurological issues. I have never experienced that, so I can't speak to that, but I've heard it before. There's people have told me that. Let me see, white and yellow, hypo, possible eclipse. So another thing could be inbreeding. If you inbreed enough times, sometimes the likelihood of genetic defects or wobbles or swaying, that likelihood goes up. It's not always a guarantee. You might have 10 baby geckos that are perfectly fine, but one gecko that's inbred that gives you a hard time. So sometimes when you breed too far into inbreeding meaning breeding parents back to offspring, brothers back to sisters for 5 or 10 years in a row, if you do that too much, then sometimes you can get some kind of neurological defect, like mental defect, or a physical defect where the gecko just won't grow as big. Do you have a suggestion if a baby gecko doesn't want to eat for a week? You mean like a baby, like just born? Just make sure it has access to the food. Sometimes the food bowls are too high or it doesn't have access to them. Just make sure it has access to the food. You could, I wouldn't try tongue feeding it. Just make sure that the worms, I always feed babies worms, mealworms. I put them in a bowl. The babies climb into that bowl and eat them up, no problem. And they're 2 times the size within 2 weeks. So that's my secret. That's my go-to is mealworms for babies with the vitamin and calcium mix. Geckos never give you a problem with vitamin and calcium mix. It's amazing, right? Some animals, when you try to supplement their diet, they don't like it, right? Geckos, no problem. One of the reasons why they make such a great pet. Can the head of a cricket that helps stubborn eaters? Yeah, head of a cricket can help stubborn eaters. You can pluck off the head of a cricket, touch the guts to the gecko's face, and it might eat. It's just that babies are so finicky and scared of the world that that's kind of hard, and you might stress it out. Breed. Okay, so maybe start to breed the babies back. What do you mean, Jay? Breed the babies back? If you can expand on that a little bit. Oh, almost 2 months old. So it must have been eating, Kevin. If it hasn't eaten in a week, make sure the heat is correct. Make sure the heat is on. Make sure the humid hide has moisture in it. Make sure it has a dark place to retreat to. Think of anything that could stress the gecko out. Maybe you're leaving your blinds open and sunlight is pouring into that gecko's cage for 12 hours of the day. Anything that could stress the gecko out, try to eliminate that. Give it a nice, dark, secure place, and you should have no problem, having them eat again. What were the first geckos you bred? Interesting. Leopard geckos. I also breed my own mealworms and dubia roaches. Yeah, if you get into this full time, breeding your own mealworms and dubia roaches, fantastic, guys, fantastic. And we now ship dubia roach colonies. So if you want to buy a dubia roach colony from us and start your own dubia roach colony, it sounds expensive, but this is pretty decent pricing. Every female is $2, and then every male is 50 cents. You only need 10 females and 3 males to get your colony going. And within a year, you will have a few hundred adults. And within another year after that, you will have thousands of adults. And each of those adults produce tens of thousands of babies for you. Cockroaches are one of the most profitable things to get into. If you have spare time, start a dubia roach colony. They don't smell. They're affordable to start. They're easy to maintain. And when you grow a large colony, pet stores will always buy from you. I had a pet store from California buy from me the other day, 8,000, and she wanted 30,000. All I had to sell her was 8,000, but she wanted 30,000. And the value on 30,000, you're probably looking at anywhere between $3,000 to $5,000. So picture that. You could become a dubia roach breeder and just supply to pet stores, and you could be making thousands of dollars a month. Now, it does take a lot of roaches, don't get me wrong, but you got to start somewhere. And since females are expensive, I would recommend starting with anywhere between 10 to 30 females and then just getting the appropriate amount of males and just let it grow. Don't touch it. Don't feed any of their babies to anything. Just let it grow, 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 grow. Within a year, you will have a colony that is worth thousands of dollars. And within a year after that, you have a colony that's worth tens of thousands of dollars. So I'll buy one right now. Jay, how many males and females can I get for 50? So it's $2 per female. So you're probably going to get about 20 females and probably like 5 males. You only need a 1-to-3 ratio. 1 male for every 3 females. And whenever you buy something like that, I throw you a couple extra. So I'll wind up giving you like 22 females and like 7 males is what I'll wind up giving you for $50. That's the right amount. Yeah. Whatever. If that's not the right amount, I'll give you more females. I need to kind of do the math on that. But hit me up, Jay, if you do want that. I just shipped to some lady for the first time right now. United States Postal Service. It seems pretty easy. You just go to United States Postal Service, buy one of their little shipping boxes, and you choose the 1 to 3 day shipping, and that should be perfectly fine. And if any of them arrive dead, I can give you a refund or just send more out to you. It's fairly inexpensive. It's like $9 to ship that many to you. So hit me up, Jay. Anyone who wants to start their own dubia colony, geekygecko.creations@gmail.com. Or message me on Messenger because it's hard to see in the chat sometimes. So Geeky Gecko Creations on Facebook or geekygecko.creations@gmail.com, and I'll get you your colony, and we'll square away payment and everything. So do you breed feeder insect in your house? I do. Dubia roaches do best between 80 degrees to 90 degrees. So I keep them in my leopard gecko room because my leopard gecko room averages 80 to 90 degrees. Therefore, they breed best. So. And yeah, Jay, if you only want females, I'll give you whatever ratio you want. Females are $2, males are 50 cents. Shipping is $9 or $12. So just kind of do the math on that and let me know what you're interested in and email me and I will figure out everything with you. And I always give a little extra to people. So whatever you want, keep that in mind. I'm going to give you like 2 extra roaches of, females or 2 extra roaches of males, both. So. I'll do 20 females and 5 males. That sounds perfect. So that would be 20 females is $40. 5 males is 50 cents each. So that's another $2.50, right? So it's $42.50. And then shipping, I'm pretty sure is going to be like 11 or 12 bucks. It might be 9. I need to check for that size order. I might need to use a medium box, but if I could fit it in a small box is $9. So that'll fit right into your $50 thing that you are looking for right there. And guys, right now, the nation has a dubia roach shortage. So if you're looking into being a successful dubia roach breeder, I'm telling you guys, pet stores eat that stuff up. I cannot have enough to sell to pet stores. I sold out yesterday. Like I said, that one lady, she wanted 30,000 roaches. I only had about 10,000 for her. Otherwise, she would have took them all. So, and that's just one lady. I have a ton of other people that I was not able to fulfill commitments for. And that was just by posting up ads on my local Facebook. So if you go on Facebook and you post up ads, you're like, hey, I'm a dubia roach breeder. Do you need dubias? Here's my pricing. You will get blown up by people, blown up. What heat do they need, or how would you breed them? If you have a room, Jay, that is between 80 to 90 degrees, that's perfect. If your room is a little bit cooler, put a heat mat under them and make that heat mat 90 degrees because they'll do a little bit better breeding when the temperature is between 80 to 90 degrees. Let me go get a colony for you guys and show you how to set it up. All right, guys, so this is all you need for a colony. This is a fairly large colony. You'll cut a hole in the top. You'll hot glue some mesh to it. And then you will use those egg crate things. You can order them from Amazon, OfferUp, eBay, find them locally. And then you'll want to use oatmeal, carrots, and celery. And that's it, guys. Oatmeal, carrots, and celery. It's so cheap to maintain these guys. They don't smell. They don't make noise. If they escape in your house, they're going to die. They don't live for whatever reason. And that's it, guys. That's literally it. Oatmeal, carrots, celery, a plastic container with an air vent in a room that's 80 to 90 degrees, and you will have thousands of roaches and tens of thousands after 1 year. My reptile room is 78, so that's a little cool, Jay. They will breed in 78, but if you put a little heat mat and set it to 90 degrees underneath them, they'll breed better. Or what you could do, Jay, too, if I have the computer here right now, but if we went into the gecko room, I put all of those tubs on top of my rack systems. Heat rises, so the top of my room is like 90 degrees, perfect for 80 to 90 degrees throughout the day. Perfect for the dubia colonies. Yeah, heating pads are fine. All right, guys, here's one of our het females. She's a big girl. She should be going into, I mean, she is in breeding this year. We've been pairing her. She is a pastel het for puzzle, and we have some really cool co-dominant and incomplete dominant genes that we are mixing with her in the puzzle project. So she has some urates here. Just scoop up that urate, scoop up that urate. Be generous with your scoops. Don't skimp on it. Just if there's some urates, just grab and go. You know what I mean? So here we need spray here. That's just vinegar again. And poo does not stick so well to this plastic. It sticks pretty good to Freedom Breeder and ARS tubs. So if you're a DIY guy, if you're a do-it-yourself person, this can work for you just as well. Just using these tubs from Walmart, you know. But yeah, Jay, if you want, just make sure you message me on Facebook or email me, because that's the best way that I'll see for those cockroaches. It's hard with the chat right now and everything going on to like take down information and stuff. Could you possibly show me your most orange gecko and one of your favorite hatchlings? Yeah, so I did that just a second ago, and then I had to get back to cleaning. I'll definitely try to do that here in the next few minutes, Jay. What do you think I can add to a red stripe radar project to brighten them up and still keeping a stripe? Going to show soon and want to add that project. Red stripe. So brighten them how? Like, do you want a yellow color or orange color? Whatever color you're going for, the only way to brighten that color up is to, like, let's say you want orange. You need to breed it to a gecko that is more orange than your current gecko. That's as far as line breeding traits are concerned. As far as traits that actually brighten the color of the gecko, excuse me, the white and yellow gene brightens the color of the gecko. So if you want a brighter gecko, think more colorful gecko and think white and yellow genes. Those are the two ways to go about it. Now, do you not want the blood morph because the blood is too dark? I'm just trying to understand what you're looking for. But if you want a bright colored animal, all you need to do is buy oranges that are more the brightness you're looking for. So if you don't like the bloods, or if you don't like the dark oranges, find a breeder that has bright oranges. We focus here specifically on bright oranges, oranges that are greenish orange, high bright orange, as well as high bright green. That's what we focus on here for our specific line. So you could come to us, or you could find another breeder that has the type of orange you're looking for. And then it's also not a bad idea to get one that has the white and yellow gene inside of it, because the white and yellow gene is a bright enhancing color gene. What leopard gecko more should I breed first? Snows are probably the most fun and easiest. I'm breathing in all this stuff. Snows are probably the most fun and easiest morphs to mess around with, because a snow gecko to a snow gecko creates more snow geckos, but also creates super snows. And the two geckos look completely different, and it's pretty cool when you're first starting out. More tangerine, but not blood. Yeah, so I think I answered the questions. Let me know if you need a deeper answer or another answer, but I have been debating getting a white and yellow, so I will look out for some at the show. Yeah, look out for some tangerine white and yellows. They create some of the best looking animals. But make sure the tangerine is a high quality tangerine. If you buy a low quality tangerine, a tangerine that's not very orange, the babies will also come out not very orange. So it's up to you how much you want to spend, but the more high quality you buy, the more high quality the babies will be. And that's how we started here at Geeky Gecko Creations. I spent $350 on one female and $350 on one male, and I wound up getting a deal from the breeder. He gave me like $50 off or some money off for buying both of them at the same time. And for the last 3 years, I've been breeding that one pair together and keeping all of the babies and breeding them back to each other to create the desired effect. The male was a nice tangerine / emerine, which is like a greenish orange color, and the female was just a deep orange color. So now all of their babies together are like bright orange / orange green colorations, and that's how you do it. That's how you start your own collection with just 2 geckos and 2 to 3 years. So what about breeding a super snow to an albino? So albino is recessive. Check out my video on genetics. If you haven't, I have 4 videos on what is codominant, what is incomplete dominant, what is recessive, and I show what all that is. But albino is recessive, meaning you need 2 copies to show the desired effect. Super snow, the snow gene is incomplete dominant, meaning 1 copy makes a pattern alteration to the gecko. 2 copies makes another pattern alteration to the gecko. So recessive and incomplete dominant, they're 2 different style genetics, but you can mix them together. If you bred a super snow to an albino, all of the babies would be snows, just 1 copy of snow, het albino, carrying the albino gene. They won't be showing any visual display of albino, but they will have albino in their DNA. And I go into extreme detail about that in my videos. If you want to watch, check it out. Email me more questions. Feel free to do so. Good work. Thank you. Gracias, cameleones. Gracias, amigo. And thank you for your donation earlier, too. That was super cool. You'll always have a spot in my heart for our first super chat, and Jay for our second super chat. I thank you guys. Thank you for the support so much. So I'm going to be doing a lot more live streams, guys, because now that I have that super chat function, it's just a good way to grow the business, a good way to grow the company, spend some time with you guys, answer questions, and get stuff done like this that I need to, you know, cleaning stuff. So I don't have a schedule necessarily right now, but if you'll just bear with me, I'm sure I'll come up with the schedule eventually. As far as releasing videos, drop in the comments any videos you want me to make, and I will try to make those videos. It's a pretty busy operation here, just, you know, kind of being on the ground here every day and the things that I need to do. But I try to release at least one video a week now, and I will try to get more than that if I can as well. So if I bred those two together and I got a snow head albino and then I bred one of those two albino, I would get albino. That is correct. If you, oh, the snake's making a getaway. You got to watch snakes, guys. They are amazing escape artists. If you breed a visual albino to a het albino, 50% of the babies will be visual. 50% of the babies will be het. If you breed a het albino to a het albino, 25% of the babies will be visual. 50% of the babies will be het, and 25% of the babies will be not het. So it gets a little bit more difficult when you breed het to het, which is why, if possible, I always recommend breed a visual to a het. Therefore, you know 100% of the babies are at least het, if not visual. I'll watch it. Yeah, if you watch my videos, I have two separate videos, one on morphs and one on genetics. They both have 4 videos in their series. The one on genetics is more about genetic terminology, you know, recessive, dominant, incomplete dominant, Punnett squares. The one on morphs is more about visual display, what the animals look like that are different morphs. So check out those videos on my channel. Just kind of scroll through the video history, and you'll see that there's 4 videos on morphs, 4 videos on actual genetics. How about a pos het? So if you have a possible het, let's say you have a possible het albino, breed it to a for sure visual albino, and if half the babies come out albino, then now you know that possible het is 100% het. Does that make sense? How long does it take for female leopard gecko eggs to hatch? 60 days. Between 79 to 82 degrees, those eggs will take 60 days to hatch. Between 87 to 90 degrees, those eggs will take 45 days to hatch. I also have 2 videos on eggs that I just released last week. One is on how do I know if my eggs are fertile? The other one is on how long does it take leopard gecko eggs to hatch? Both of those videos covers that topic in detail as well. Oh, how do you get a pos het? So the way you get a pos het is by breeding a het to a het. If you have a het albino and you breed it to another het albino, because only 25% of the babies are going to be visual, the other 75% of the babies are going to be pos het, because you don't know which babies are carrying the gene. They all look like normal babies, but a couple of them are carrying the genes and one of them is not carrying the genes. You don't know which one is which. And that's where the term 66% het comes in. In my genetics video, I show you the Punnett square of how we got 66% het in the industry. But basically, it's 2 out of 3. So if 1 out of 4 of your geckos are visual albino, what about the other 3? 2 out of 3 are het, and 1 out of 3 is not het. So that's where 66 comes from. 2 divided by 3 is 66. So all 3 of those remaining babies are now 66% possible het for albino. Yeah, that's exactly why. If you watch my last genetics video, I believe it's video 4, that's like an in-depth topic of how we get the number 66. 66 is in genetics video number 4, and I show you the Punnett square, and I explain how we got 66%, you know, in the hobby, how that terminology came to be. But yeah, if you need me to explain that again one more time, I can, since we're all here. But could Oren actually try to help you get all red eclipse albinos? Eyes. So explain that one more time, Serena. Are you talking about breeding in your own collection? How you can get more orangey red albinos, or are you talking about like combining with our collection? Or so pretty pretty animal here. This is a butter lesser, and it's hard to see her color on camera, but she's pretty yellow. I also love making white and yellow bolds are amazing. Yeah, bold white and yellow bells are amazing. Because you said you were trying. Yeah, so I am trying to get as orange of a gecko as I can with the eclipse gene and the red eyes. So maybe if we were closer, we could work on some projects together. It does make it a little bit more tough when you have to ship geckos to people that you're working on projects with. But if you're ever in the Arizona area and you want to work on some projects together, let me know and we can, you know, see if there's something to figure out there. But shipping and kind of dealing with all that can kind of be a little bit tricky. But I appreciate that. But yeah, maybe just in your own collection, just try to continue enhancing that orange line. And as we enhance our orange line and you enhance your orange eclipse line, we'll meet back up in the future and see what we got with each other and see if we want to do some partnership or outcrossing there. Yeah, I remember you sending that video, and that was one that you got from PetSmart, right? Or the pet store. You got like a super nice one. So males, you want males to be actually males and females. You want them both to be probably at I don't want to I'm going to catch some heat for saying this, but this year we're actually experimenting with breeding females at a smaller than recommended size. And I want to see and once and for all what the statistics are of success. Because most people right now tell you want a female that is about 45 grams and 1 year of age. But I've bred both males and females smaller than that. And so I'll be honest with you, the smallest female in our rotation this year is 31 grams. And she's somewhere between 6 or 7 months old. And the same with the male. We have males that are 6 to 8 months old, and they are about 35 to 40 grams. And they've bred for us. All of these young females have bred for us. I don't know how well their fertility is going to go, or if they wound up, with having any delivery problems, being so small, delivering the eggs. Now, it shouldn't be a problem because like black knight leopard geckos are small and they just deliver smaller eggs. So what's the difference between a black knight leopard gecko that's naturally small and like a subadult or slash adult small female that's only 6 to 7 months old? There shouldn't be that big of a deal. But before I go promoting it 100%, I need to test it out in my own collection, and let you guys know one way or the other, once and for all, whether it's good or not. So, no, you can visually look at a gecko and be like, you know what? As long as the gecko is like 6 to 7 inches long, and has a little bit of weight to it, a little chunky tail, you can usually visually know if the gecko's ready or not. So this is going to sound kind of barbaric, but in the wild, guys, a male doesn't go up to a female and he's like, how much you weigh, baby, before breeding. I hope that makes sense. So if you just introduce a male to a female that's kind of close to breeder size, or you think she's close to breeder size, she's either going to accept him or reject him. And that's it. Keep an eye on them. If she rejects him, get him out of there. If she accepts him, then hey, it's what would have happened in the wild anyways. You like my analogy there? Hey, baby, how much you weigh? What's your sign? You know, they don't talk like that to each other in the wild. They simply they pick up on body cues, body language. That's what they pick up on in the wild. Scent and smell. Of course, this does not take away from data. So this year, we have about 6 or 7 geckos that are in the 30-gram range. They're between 30 to 40 grams, which is considered small for a female. I will let you guys know how well those babies do, how well those females do. So you could decide what is the right size for you, the comfort level for you of what you want to breed geckos at. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, everything is a risk. You could have a small gecko that winds up having delivery issues, or you could have a large gecko that winds up having a delivery issue. The question is, do small geckos statistically have more of a problem than large geckos? That's the question that we are going to be seeking to answer. But breeding on any level is risky. If you think about it, on any level, whether the gecko is 2 years old or whether the gecko is 6 months old, there's risk associated with both of those. So how much you weigh, baby? Yeah, exactly. You step on that scale yet? I would imagine that's not good in the wild if the male gecko was like, hey, baby, I need you to step on this scale before we breed. She probably wouldn't take to that too nicely. That's funny. Oh, guys, if you haven't seen it, look up this video of leopard geckos in the wild. There's this guy from like Iran that has leopard geckos in the wild. They struggle in the wild, guys. They struggle. So it's actually nice to have them here in captivity because, you know, there's always those, you know, and to each their own, but there's always those naturalists like, oh, it's so much better for an animal to be wild. Well, if you take a look at wild animals, they're skinny, they're missing their tails, they're fighting all the time, they're scared because they're hiding from birds, other predatory animals, you know. So yes, we do keep animals in a confined area in captivity, but it is safer for the animal. They have all of their needs met. So arguably, it's the lesser of two evils, right? You want to throw an animal out into the wild where it has to compete for survivability every single day of its life, or do you want to have it in captivity where it doesn't have to compete for survivability? It just survives. It just does it in a captive setting. So arguably the lesser of two evils. There will always be people in the community arguing about what's right, what's wrong, what's the best tank size, what's the best food, all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, as long as you find something, as long as you find a method that is known to work and that you are morally and ethically comfortable with, then hey, you know, you're doing the best you can. You're doing the right thing, you know. There's always going to be someone telling you you're not doing the right thing. I'm sure you guys can imagine I get told by people all the time that I'm not doing the right thing, but you can't let it phase you at the end of the day. You have to just be confident in who you are, be confident in your ethics, your morality, your values, you know, the fact that you care for these animals, you've done your research, you're providing their needs for them. And as long as you feel like you're comfortable with it, then there shouldn't be a problem, especially if it is a tried and true method for keeping reptiles safely and securely in captivity. Their tails will grow. Their tails will go back after the threat is gone and then eat it to regain the nutrients. Yeah, and their tails, they grow back kind of janky looking sometimes too. So, and your intentions, because you name your animals versus seeing them as just a creature you breed for profit. Exactly. I have a relationship with every single one of these animals, even if it has a genetic code. For example, our business right now, you know, the Geeky Gecko Creations as a business is getting to the level where I can no longer just give names to every animal. It's better for me to give them a genetic ID. For example, the genetic ID that I've started giving the animals is Tangerine, the year that it was born, and then male or female, and then a number. It has everything that the customer needs to know about that animal in that ID. It has its morph in there. It has the year that that animal was born. It has whether it's a male and female. And that's beginning to be the system that we're switching over to. But even if it's a generic ID like that, we still care about every single one of our animals. And I either know them by name, or I create little nicknames for them, or I know their little quirks. You know what I mean? I know the things that they freak out about, or the things that they don't like. I know that about each animal just visually looking at them, because I'm hands-on every single day with every animal, you know? And that's the way that I like it. Therefore, I know that, hey, if there's an animal that has a health need, if I see that, hey, this gecko's not eating, hey, this gecko lost a tail, hey, this gecko, the human hide is dry, you know, we have a monitoring system for that. And I'm looking at every single one of our, you know, hundreds of geckos every single day, or every couple days at least. So. But yeah, some of my geckos have names. Others of my geckos now have those generic codes, which is like the base morph, the year it was born, and then what number it is in our system. So I can go back into our system and tell you every bit of information that you want to know about that gecko. How many infertile eggs did this gecko have? What age did it first breed at? What genetics are in that gecko? I'm able to provide that for myself, as well as anyone who's buying the gecko or a baby of that gecko, you know? All right, so we're putting this girl away. She's a butter lesser female, and we're going to try to make some het puzzles from her this year. Okay, so here's a really cool snake that came from Mutation Creation, Billy up in Mutation Creation. It was the snake that we originally wanted to make pandapides from, until we shifted our focus to focus on primarily the puzzle project. So she's black pastel, Mojave, het lavender albino, het pied. And we're going to make sure her cage is nice and clean, not too humid. So this is Pro Coco, or yeah, Pro Coco. We use it for all of our ball pythons. It's good for ball pythons. And then Eco Earth is good for the humid boxes of leopard geckos. So again, anyone who's just joined, thank you guys so much. This video is partly in celebration of the fact that we are now YouTube partnered. Yay! So YouTube has now agreed with us to help us make money for our business, our content, our channel, and for that money to benefit the viewer. So all of the money that we receive through super chats here or super stickers, I appreciate that so much, guys. It's going to go towards us growing this business, getting into a warehouse, producing more animals, and bringing more content for you guys. So I just thank you guys so much. Shout out to Jay and Chameleones for our first 2 super chat donations ever. Really cool. And I'm just mixing this dry eco earth with the moist eco earth so that we have a very well balanced substrate here, and that the substrate is not too humid for the snake. And sometimes you have extra moisture that accumulates on the sides, so I just wipe that off because you don't want an environment that's too moist for your ball pythons. So you can see that it doesn't leak any water. It just has just a little bit of moisture to it. That's pretty much the level that you want it. Here she goes. She's going into shed. You can see her pinkish belly and everything. Beautiful girl. She's going to make some amazing black pastel Mojave het puzzles. And if you have never seen a Mojave puzzle, beautiful, beautiful snake. One of the most beautiful. Or, I mean, a Mojave visual puzzle. But even a Mojave het puzzle is great. So here's a Mojave het puzzle, baby, that we have. And you could just see the awesome contrast. This is only het puzzle. But imagine if it was visual puzzle. Like, it looks like bones, like Necromancer. You know how Necromancer has like bone spells and chains and all that kind of stuff? That's what it reminds me of. All right, guys, one of the most exciting snakes that we are working with male-wise is our yellow belly visual puzzle male. This male is going to go to as many females as we can breed him this year. That's why we've been fattening him up on rats so that the yellow belly gene can become mixed with the black pastel, the orange dream, all of those good combinations into puzzle. And this, he has a very like jester-like pattern, jester-like look to him with his, he shows it a little bit more on some parts of his body right there. It looks very like medieval-like a spearhead or like a military medallion. It's pretty cool. This guy's got some poo and pee. I really appreciate how much you interact with your subscribers. It's refreshing to see someone who cares about. Yeah, thank you so much, Serena. Thank you for that shout out. That is awesome. You know, I started this hobby right where all you guys were, and it's so fantastic. And some of you guys might be more experienced than me, but I'm just saying, if you're a newcomer that cares about you, that you can interact with, ask questions to, because emergencies will happen, questions will happen. And I know I've been one that I've been up at midnight and I have an emergency question for a breeder, and I send them the question because I need the answer. I'm concerned about the life and the care of my animals. And yeah, it's just great. As a breeder, it's great to be able to interact with the community and have other people tune in. What's up, Thurman? Thank you, sir. That is awesome to hear. Thurman's been around a while. I'll let you know, Thurman. This video is in part celebration to the fact that we are now over 1,000 subscribers. We are partnered with YouTube, which means that we can receive super chat donations, super chat stickers. So check that out in the super chat if you're able to. All of the money and all of the proceeds and the donations that we receive through super chat is going to go directly into our warehouse fund. We want to build this company up over the next year so that we can move into a warehouse and be able to produce thousands of high quality animals for ourselves as well as the rest of the community. Thank you, bro. You were one of the original few, so I appreciate that. You get to reap the benefits with us. Through the growth of our company as well this year, we're going to be doing giveaways. So stay tuned for that on like Instagram, Facebook, and stuff for hitting certain milestones and mile markers over there. We'll be doing giveaways. We'll probably be looking into Patreon so that if you're like, what do you guys think about Patreon? Is that something you would like? For example, like something like this. If we did a Patreon where people could be part of like a smaller subset of clubs, of the club of Patreon supporters that get extra bonus videos like this, as well as bonus giveaways. For example, if you're part of like tier 1 of our Patreon, your name will go into the drawing for a giveaway every like 3 months or every 4 months. We'll do a giveaway of a gecko if you're part of like our Patreon group. And only the people in that tier, only their names will be entered into the drawing for the gecko giveaway. Wow, Thurman, thank you so much, man. That's our highest super chat. Yeah, I know Jay gave, Chameleones gave, but I think that's our highest super chat yet. So I really appreciate that, brother. That is so cool. That is awesome. You guys making me excited. I'm finally here, guys. I'm finally at this level. It's been a lot of hard work on YouTube to get monetized. It's taken a lot of videos, a lot of time learning how to make videos, and then also how to get people to view and see those videos, because I'm just like a little nobody starting up. How do I get my videos viewed compared to like these large people like Kevin McCurley from Nerd, Brian Barczyk from Snake Bites, Suburban Geckos. What's his name? He just came back to the gecko hobby. Matt Sasselback of Sasselback Reptiles. If you guys didn't know, he is returning to the hobby, and he's a huge leopard gecko guy. So he'll be another community interaction point. But yeah, I love interacting with the community. Sasselback, yeah, exactly. So thank you so much, Thurman. I'm so appreciative. Like I said, everything that you guys donate and give to us today is going to Geeky Gecko Creations Warehouse Growth and Development Fund, so that we can continue to grow this operation, add more animals as well as more people, because as you expand, you need more people, right? And my business partner right now, he's helping me grow this operation when he can, you know what I mean? But we're going to need to add more family members here at Geeky Gecko Creations eventually, especially when we open up like an actual physical location. We're probably going to need to add employees and everything. So every bit of donation counts and is going to go towards our growth and development to bring more high quality animals to market at quality prices. My goal is not to be charging people $500 for like the highest quality tangerine. I want to bring that marketable to people for $300 to $400 for what people are selling for like $500 to $600. So that's my goal. As we grow and expand, we will be able to bring more higher quality animals for more quality pricing for everybody, so that everyone who's watching and loves this hobby, they too can start up their own channels, and they too can start up their own high quality breeding collections, and they don't have to break their own bank account to do that, The yellow belly puzzle is just looking at me right now. He's like, hey, I want to go back into my cage. So thank you once again, Thurman Merman, Chameleones, Jay. I can't shout out you guys enough. I appreciate all your love and support. And all the people who are just here, just asking questions. Hey, I don't donate to every chat that I go to. Some chats I will, but I appreciate everyone who's participating and everyone who is a part of the community. And when and if you're ever able to give, then give. But if not, that's cool too. You matter just as much to me, and I appreciate it. But I really want to shout out the guys that did give, because that's just an extra level of appreciation that I want to give to you guys. So thank you so much. All right, we're gonna put this yellow belly back. He's like looking at me. So we were trying to fatten this guy up. He came to us in January and he didn't eat since January, but he's eaten 3 rats in the past 3 weeks. So let's give him a round of applause. He is going to be, fingers crossed, he is going to be a great breeder for us, bringing the visual puzzle gene into so much of our collection. I'm curious if I have a original tangerine and breed it to a bell albino or a white and yellow tremper, what would I get? So since tangerine is line bred, if you breed tangerine to a recessive gene like tremper albino, you'll get all, whoa, excuse me, talk a lot and I get burpy. You'll get all babies that are semi-tangerine but het albino, unless you breed a tangerine albino to a tangerine albino, will create higher quality tangerine albinos. But if you take a tangerine albino that's high quality and you breed it to a non-tangerine animal, the babies are all going to be diluted tangerine, because the only way to get tangerine is to breed it to another tangerine. So all the babies will be diluted tangerine, but they will be 100% het for albino. And with the white and yellow is an incomplete dominant gene, meaning that if you have a white and yellow and you breed it to a non-white and yellow, 50% of the babies get white and yellow, 50% of the babies do not get white and yellow. So that's just another factor to add into the mix. The genetic calculations. Again, in my genetics video, I show you how to combine this calculation with this calculation with this calculation to get your overall outcome of what genetic inheritance the parents are going to pass along. You can also go to Morph Market, go to the leopard gecko section, and there's a genetic calculator on the Morph Market leopard gecko section. So you'll type in tangerine tremper for one parent, and then you'll type in albino white and yellow for another parent, and it will give you the genetic odds of every single baby that you could get and the percentages. It's pretty cool. Let me see if my business partner is messaging me to come over. If I missed any of his messages. No, I did not. So I just want to make sure. Okay, so about 2 hours in and my voice is going. So that's mental note. How long? Oh, what? Jay, is that your second one? Hold up, I gotta look back here. Yeah, that is your second one, Jay. That puts you now at $10 total for the day. Love the vids. What the Facebook so I can get them roaches as well. I'm gonna type my Facebook in. So that is my Facebook. If you type in Geeky Gecko Creations, you'll find me on Facebook. Or if you email me at geekygeckocreations@gmail.com, I can get you guys breeder colony of roaches. We were talking about starting your own colony to make money to sell to pet shops, as well as or feed your own collection. I do sell dubia roaches now, $2 per female. You could start a colony for as cheap as anywhere between $20 to $50, and that colony will grow to thousands within a year. They don't smell. They're so easy to keep. Email me or hit me up on Facebook if you're interested in buying a colony, and I can ship to you as well. I also want to see your favorite hatcher and the best orange gecko you have. Okay, so let me go get that for you real quick. So anyone who was here earlier will see this again. Chameleones, another $5. You guys are crazy. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you. So that's $10 for you, $10 for Jay. Thurman, $9.99. Let's call it $10. You guys are amazing. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. I showed this earlier, but I can't get enough of this one, guys. Again, I've hatched hundreds of geckos here, and this is the one that really sticks out to me. I have no explanation for it right now. It has a perfect bold stripe right down the middle of the back. That is so rare. Usually the middle of the back is hypo, meaning no pigment, no pattern down the middle of the back. To get a stripe down the middle of the back is simply amazing. I can't explain it. And this is our Eclipse Tangerine line. So the line that we want to make the most orange eclipses from. So eclipses to have red eyes and tangerine geckos to be the most orange. So let me go get you our most orange gecko now. Guys, the lighting is not doing him any justice. It's so hard to see, but this is our most orange gecko. He's a juvenile male that will be growing up. So let me see if this is Greg here, guys, just so I can. It is. If you can give me 1 second, I'm going to answer my business partner, let him know to come over. Hey, what's up, man? I'm live on a live stream right now answering your call. It's awesome, man. The community is great. Everyone's in here participating. I told them that it might be you because you're planning on coming over and helping. So I'm doing snake stuff right now. I don't know if you're able to or want to come over, but there is some gecko stuff that could be done, but it's up to you if you're able. Okay, I appreciate it. Just text me, let me know when you're getting close. All right, bro, later. All right, so that's good, guys. If you're going to have a business partner, it's good that you can share some of that responsibility with, because as you grow in operation, it's going to be so hard to manage everything yourself. Especially if you try to do the social media thing with like videos and stuff, it's a lot to do. Yeah, Jay, I wish the lighting was better. Let me see if I could shine some lighting on this guy. But I'm telling you, in person, he's just this bright orange. Look at that carrot tail. Even that's hard to see, but you can see his carrot tail goes 75% right now. It's pretty deep. Nah, that doesn't help any. But I have pictures of him on Instagram. If you scroll through Instagram, and maybe I'll even post a picture right now. Let me see. It's so hard. Yeah, it's tough to get a picture, guys. But he is our most orange gecko. And he's going to be creating some very orange geckos for us this year. Yeah, let me see your 2 most orange geckos. That's really cool. What up, Greg? That's my partner right there, Greg. He's the one coming over to help with the reptiles here in a little bit. All right, I'm going to put this guy away so I can continue cleaning snakes. What's up, Jackson Fuller? We are all here, and chime in with any super chat or super sticker or just regular questions. You know what I mean? You don't have to donate, but donations help. Anyone who just tuned in, like I said, there's people donating, and the donations today are going towards the growth of our operation here, so we can continue expanding the genetic quality, the genetic quantity, and bring you guys, quality geckos for a quality price. Eventually expand into a brick and mortar. Any donations today are going to go towards that means. Getting into a brick and mortar, getting to a physical location, and just giving us the ability to manage all the animals so we can bring beautiful animals to you, the community, continue doing live stream interaction stuff like this. I'm probably going to be live for maybe at least like another hour. So you don't have to stay by any means, but I'm just here to answer questions while I'm cleaning up some of the operation here. I actually might have to go soon because I need to breed some geckos. And to do that, I need like my full focus and attention so I can like keep track of stuff. But you guys have been great. What do you think about a nightly live stream? And do I need to give you a time, or can I just chime in and then you guys will just chime in if you know that I'm going to be live for like 2 hours every night while cleaning or something? Let me know what you think in the chat. But I breed my leopard gecko Sunday, and I've never done it before, so let's see what happens. Yes, and please, I have other videos on incubation and whatnot. And if you have any questions, email me, geekygeckocreations@gmail.com or Facebook. It's tough in your first year when you're just getting going. There's a lot of questions you have. I had a lot of questions. Go ahead and ask those questions, you know. Yes, you like the idea of a nightly live because there's certain tasks that I need to do every day live. And so I'm thinking if I can do those tasks while running the live stream, I can go back and forth between answering questions and cleaning. The problem is I answer questions and then my cleaning gets pushed back so much. And that wouldn't be a problem if I didn't have to breed. But breeding takes 3 hours for me every night. Between the hours of 9 p.m. to 12, I go into the room and I do breeding. So it's tough to do that if I don't get my cleaning done and accomplished. So you guys just have to help me find that balance to where if I've been on too long, you got to tell me, hey, Frank, we love having you here, but you need to go. You need to go breed so that you can keep bringing quality geckos to market. So. All right, guys. So let's see. I was wondering if she lays her eggs and at work, are they going to die? As long as the eggs are laid in eco earth or something to hold a little bit of humidity, you can have up to 24 to 48 hours before you really need to worry about the eggs. I always try to grab the eggs within 12 to 24 hours because sometimes the female lays them up against the plastic. Sometimes she lays them on the floor, but I try to get them right away so that the elements of the enclosure don't get to the eggs, because usually the enclosure elements are not the best elements for incubation. So watch my incubation video, go back into my videos. I have like a 40-minute video on incubation. I talk about everything related to incubation, and you can kind of see some visual pictures of why it's important to pull those eggs as soon as possible. But if you're at work, it should not be a problem. You know, maybe once in a while it'll be a problem if she does something crazy to the eggs, like lays them on the newspaper or the sand or something like that. But if she lays them in her substrate, you have a good 24 to 48 hours to grab those eggs before you really need to worry. Personally, I always try to grab those eggs within 12 hours. So I have a list of females that I'm expecting to lay, and I check those females every single night, the females that are expecting to lay, so that I can get those eggs as soon as possible. Ugh. So here's a big girl we got from JKR. She is a visual spider puzzle pastel. She's gonna, fingers crossed, be a great breeder for us. Beautiful, clean spider white belly, as you can see. Just a beautiful girl. So we are spot cleaning the ball pythons right now, checking for poop, urates, any of that. I made a lay box, but I don't know if she will go in it. I have Eco Earth in the box and sprayed it so it would clump up, but just don't think she's going to. Usually geckos will go into their lay box to hide. So Jackson, how many hides do you have in your cage? Number one. And number two, if you have multiple hides and one of them is more moist than the other, she will go in there. Don't worry about it. When she needs to lay, her natural senses are going to kick in. She's going to go in there and lay. Don't you worry about it. But every once in a while, the females will do something crazy like laying an egg on the ground or something, but it doesn't happen too much. So if you have 3 hides in there, don't you worry. She will, as long as she can get in the humid hide, she will find the one that is best for the eggs. I sent the pics to you. Check them out on Messenger. Okay, I will, Jay. Thank you very much. Let's see. You sent it to my Geeky Gecko account. Check out those pics right now. Oh, yeah. So I'll show you guys. I hope it's cool, Jay. Let me know if it's not, but I'll show everyone the pictures you sent me. So very nice tangerine leopard gecko here from Jay in the chat. Jay Netherton. This is another gecko. Very cool, Jay. Very cool stuff. Okay, cool. Yeah, I try not to show any personal information because you don't want to just go show people's personal stuff. But this community is so cool. People love to show off their animals. I love being a part of it, and thank you for showing us your animals. So, if I breed them on the 28th, will she lay them between the 15th? Yeah. So if you breed them, if she's successful breeding on the 28th, go 2 to 3 weeks later, and that's when you'll expect the eggs. As soon as 2 weeks come, which is the 15th, check her humid hide every single night, even slightly before the 15th. Once you're at like 1 week and 3/4, check her lay box every single time. And check the other lay boxes too, because if your other lay boxes have substrate in it, she might lay in one of those other lay boxes. Sometimes geckos will lay eggs in dry substrate. That will happen. So for me and my setup, Jackson, I only have 1 hide, which is also the humid hide for every single one of my rack system tubs. So my leopard gecko tub is similar to the snake tub that I have right now. It has 1 humid hide in the back where the heat is, and then a food and a water dish, and that's it. I keep it nice and simple because it is for breeding purposes mainly. It is a breeder setup, I should say. So I need it to be efficient to that degree, and it's easier for me to clean, to get fresh food, fresh water for multiple geckos that way. So that's why I do 1 hide. But if you have multiple hides, check all of those hides. Yeah, every week and 3/4 or so, because you want to make sure you find those eggs as soon as she lays. Oh yeah, what you got there, Jay? What's the genetics on that one right there? Can you see? It's hard to. It looks like there's a glare, but that's just because that gecko is so radiant. So white and yellow, super hypo tangerine, possible het eclipse. Beautiful. Also, she's been pretty moody lately. Yeah, females that are, cooking some eggs, they can be a little bit moody. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. I'm always gentle with them because I don't want to stress the females out as much as possible. So I usually, don't handle the females too much while they're gravid and pregnant and stuff. But I also have almost 100 geckos right now, so that might be another reason. If I only had 1, I would probably be tempted to handle her like every single day because, you know, I love being able to interact with the geckos, watch TV with them. As long as you're not like squeezing them and stuff, they'll be fine. All right, we're gonna put this girl away. Her cage here is freshly mixed up. Here's a snake that had a shed, and you can see she had a successful shed, and the substrate's even pretty dry. So it just shows you it doesn't need to be that moist for them to have a successful shed. This is, wait, which girl is this? Oh, yeah, okay. This is pastel het puzzle. You can see on her head that arrowhead-like formation. Really cool. Really, really cool. She's just a het puzzle. She's not even a visual puzzle. I have 2 female, 1 male. He's a yellow albino, I think, really pretty. Yeah. Usually the yellow albinos are mostly Tremper albinos. There's 3 different kinds of albino in leopard geckos. Tremper is the most popular because it was the first one discovered. And then there were 2 other ones discovered. Each of those other albino lines are not mixable with each other. You can't take like a Tremper albino and mix it with a Bell albino and get albinos. Tremper needs to be bred to Tremper. Bell needs to be bred to Bell. And Rainwater needs to be bred to Rainwater. And if you mix them, you're not going to get albinos. All right, so her substrate's actually a little bit dry. Like I said earlier, you want to kind of hit it with a little bit of moisture so that the snake is not breathing in so much dust. Even though cocoa hide is some of the best stuff for, you know, it's some of the best loose substrate for not being dusty. And I'm going to give her an extra scoop there. And she should be good to go. Take a look at her one more time. Pastel, 100% het puzzle, female, breeding this year. That cocoa fiber smells kind of weird. It's just an earthy smell because I had the lid on the container, so it's kind of earthy. Here we go. This is probably one of the most beautiful females that we have. She's also one of the ones that strikes at me, so I'm always kind of careful with her. But she hasn't struck at me lately. But look at that. Look at that pattern. I always say it looks so sorcerer-like or sorceress-like. And she's a female, so more sorceress, witch-like. Like she's a spell doctor or something. What's your email? I'll send you a pic. So geekygecko.creations@gmail.com. It's slightly above up in the chat as well. geekygecko.creations@gmail.com. And if you need to, I could retype it. Just since my hands were full, I was just going to tell you just to scroll up if you can. But if you have trouble finding it, let me know, Jackson, and I will type it into the chat. But it's geekygecko.creations@gmail.com. And we're going to check out some of Jay's babies here. Reptile babies. My wife and I, we don't have human babies yet, but we have hundreds of reptile babies. And we're happy with that for now. Okay. Oh yeah. So look at some of these babies from Jay here. I think it's catching a glare and you guys can't see that, right? There we go. Yeah, there we go. From the picture, that looks like a white and yellow. Is that white and yellow? This one? That looks like a white and yellow bold to me. I have some white and yellow bolds that look like that. It's a white and yellow bold striped snow. Okay, these are my last year babies. There you go. I guess I still got it. I shouldn't say still got it because I'm just starting, but yeah, once you see enough genetics, you can kind of start to tell what's in it. But like from the picture, I wasn't able to tell snow, but in person, I'm sure Jay is able to distinguish that snow in there. Sometimes pictures are a little tough. This is really dry, which is good. I mean, you don't want your snake to necessarily be in a 100% humid environment because of possible respiratory issues that can arise. So, but you also need them humid so that they can shed and not get stuck shed, which can cause over long periods of time. It can cause, sometimes the skin gets stuck on different body parts of the animal, and it constricts the blood flow and amputates that part of the animal's body, as well as gets stuck in their eyes or something, and then it could possibly create like an infection or something. Just stuff you need to watch out for. But usually the rack system does a pretty good job of holding moisture for ball pythons since they do have all of this bedding. So this is just a Enchi girl, regular Enchi we picked up from somebody locally. Enchi will have a little bit of like an orange brownish hue to it instead of the traditional pure brown hue of a ball python. So it reduces the pattern, increases the orange pigment, and that's why it's one of the genetics used for creating some cool combos. This is an Enchi Fire. Fire is a gene that lightens the overall color of the snake. And so you can see reduced pattern, looks like camo, looks like military, and a lighter pattern, a lighter kind of like brownish, orangish color. Enchi Fire. Yeah, she really hasn't been eating for me since we got her like a month ago. So no poo, no water, which is okay. All right, no poo, no pee. It's okay. So thank you guys to all you guys who have stuck around at 2 hours and 20 minutes. Golly, we've been through some stuff in this video, huh? So I'm going to keep staying on here at least till the snakes are done. And then I might grab some dinner so that when my business partner comes over, I can show him what needs to be done with the geckos and I can help him with that. I was going to say maybe we'll go back live, but I need to focus and breed the geckos tonight as well. And that does require some attention so that I don't write anything down or mislabel or anything like that. So I will check my email, Jackson. Anyone who's just tuning in, we do have dubia roach colony starters getting started. So some people like Jay are emailing us so that we can send you a dubia roach colony. It's fairly affordable, anywhere between $20 to $50 will get you a colony of females that can start reproducing, and you can have hundreds or thousands within your first year. So yeah, so for the roaches, we accept Zelle, PayPal, and Venmo, and I will send you an email. I mean, I'll correspond with you through email to square away payment, Jay. You don't need to send it right now. I'll get you an official like invoice that shows the amount and everything like that of what you're paying for and what's owed, so that it can be official for you. Here's another male we are excited about. He is a visual leopard. What is he? Leopard, pastel, spider, possible fire male puzzle. So that's what really makes him so valuable to us, is because he has the puzzle gene in him. So we're laying heavy into the puzzle project over here, and he has like a cool kind of like bluish eyes effect, but he's just really cool. Look at that pattern on his nose is really tight. It's almost like a superhero pattern or something. If you have some name ideas for this guy, but look at that pattern. That's that leopard coming through right there. And he is spider. That's why he does have reduced pattern. But the thing that makes him really valuable to us is that he is a visual puzzle with 2 or 3 co-dominant traits in there, such as fire, pastel, spider, and leopard. And that's one of the funnest things about ball pythons and leopard geckos, guys, is the amount of genetic possibilities that you can mess around with. It's simply incredible. That's why I'll always recommend leopard geckos and recommend ball pythons to people, depending on whether you want a snake or whether you want a snake or whether you want a gecko, a lizard, because these are 2 of the species. These 2 species have the highest amount of genetic diversity and possibility to play around with. And it becomes so fun. That's why I came up with the idea of the name of Geeky Gecko Creations, because you're literally your own creator. And the art are the animals, they're the superstars. And you're just kind of like the creator behind the scenes, coming up with like different combinations and making different things work and new combinations. It's pretty cool when you really get into it. Let me see if I got the email, Jackson. I did, Jackson Fuller, I did. So you sent me a picture. What was your question, Jackson, about that picture you sent me? I did get the email. So if you can let me know the question, if you had a question, I'll get that answer for you. But that's a pretty looking, it looks like Tremper albino leopard gecko. That's what it looks like to me. Okay, cool. Yeah. Is that Tremper or is that Bell albino? Sometimes Bell albinos have a similar look like that, but Tremper is the most common, so it's usually the one that people default to assigning to an unknown genetic animal. By the way, how's my voice on the chat, guys? Is it like echoey? Is it too loud? I'm just curious. So as the future goes on, as time goes on in the future, I can change things around to make it more audibly pleasing. All right, guys, this snake got attitude, but she's one of my favorite girls because she is not a rare genetic, but I would say a more expensive and rarer genetic to work with, called the red stripe. It's like this dark brown mahogany color. So it kind of has that coined term red stripe because it has some reddish brown hues in it. But if you saw what JKR did with the Pompeii ball python, he created a ball python that's like pure red. And one of the combinations that's in it is the red stripe. But she is an escape artist, and she is showing her colors right now. Trying to escape on me. Stay in there, girl. Oh, do you have any Max Snows? We will have Max Snows available this season. All of our babies are just now starting to hatch. And if you missed it, I said earlier, I stated, please bear with us, guys, because we want to be a really big company. The more geckos we have, the more we're able to bring you guys high quality geckos for good quality pricing. You know, we don't want to charge people an arm and a leg for geckos, but to do that, we need to have a significant amount so that financially the sales can support the business. So that means that we need higher quantity. And so this year we're scheduled to hatch about 300 to 400 geckos, and we want to keep about half to 3/4 of those so that we could put them into the breeding stock for next year and give people better prices and the best quality for the best prices. Jackson. Okay, if you were for real, Jackson, and you did that, then I would do it. Obviously, I mean that's an offer you can't. You know, sometimes people are like, "Give me an offer I can't refuse." That's an offer that somebody can't refuse right there, Jackson. But I actually don't have too many Max Snows, so you would be paying like $5,000 for like only a few geckos. So it really wouldn't be worth it to you. But hey, I mean, everyone can be bought at a price, right? If you want my Max Snows for that price, you could have them. But we will be making plenty of Max Snows, Jackson. So the good thing about leopard geckos, they only take 6 to 8 months to raise into adult breeders. So if you stay tuned with us this year, you will see that over the next few months, we will start to have Max Snow and Super Snow babies available. Oh, absolutely, Jackson. I mean, $5,000. The only leopard gecko, the snake is staring crazy at me right now. She's freaking me out. Let me see if I can show. She is looking at me. You see me, right? You see me? She's looking at me. She's freaking me out right now. She's a big girl too. If she strikes, I mean, you're getting some teeth in you. But yeah, Jackson. So honestly, we will have some very pretty and very nice Max Snows available this year. Our pricing on our Max Snow is generally about, depending if it's a snow or a snow is usually like $100. A Super Snow is like 125, and a Super Snow Eclipse is like 150. So as you add those genes in there, it gets a little bit more. The more geckos you buy, you get certain percentage discount, like 10, 15% or something, 20% if you buy like more than 3. So that's our pricing right now. But the more geckos we produce in the future and stuff, we'll be able to continue to make affordable pricing, great deals for people. And we are scheduled to hatch some snows this year. We just don't have any right now. You know what I mean? So I do have actually, I need to make a baby setup video. But babies need to be set up the same way as adults. They need a human hide. They need food. They need water. They need a food and a water bowl that's shallow enough for them to get into and to see the prey. I feed mealworms to babies. They need a 90-degree hot spot to digest their meal. And that's about it. Other than that, it's the exact same as adults. This is a girl that made a getaway on us one night, and my business partner had to come at 1 o'clock in the morning and help me break this girl out of the cubby that she fell into, crawled into. Here's another sassy one, but that's just because she likes food, and so she strikes at everything. Should I keep them in a small tub because the 2 I breed? Yeah, for our babies, I'm sorry, my hands are all snaky right now. If I don't like to be grabbing gecko stuff and touching snake stuff at the same time because you could possibly cross contaminate. But our baby geckos are in 6-quart tubs with a 90-degree hotspot and humid hide on one side, and then a food and a water dish. We only feed mealworms, and we feed the mealworms supplemented with Osteoform SA and Vionate vitamin powder, a 3-to-1 ratio. It's the ratio that all the top breeders in the hobby have used for decades, and so that's why we use it. And if you need more data on that, send me an email or a private message, and I can definitely give you the data on it. You can buy it from Amazon. It's probably about $40 to $50 for both of those, but it'll last you forever. It'll last you a lifetime if you only got a couple geckos. And if you have hundreds of geckos like us, it lasts you like a year. So it's $50 well spent. But yeah, we keep them in a smaller tub. Our adults are in 12-quart tubs. 1 adult for every 12-quart tub that you buy from Walmart, and 2 babies for every 6-quart tub that we buy until the babies are old enough to be separated. Once the babies are about 4 inches long and starting to become juvenile subadults, then we'll separate them for sure. And you don't have to separate them, but we like to do that so that we don't get any early breedings or fights or anything because they start becoming hormonal after that. You should make a video. Yeah, I will. It's actually on my list to make a video of a baby setup. I've just been so busy with like husbandry, care, growing the company and all that kind of stuff. It's just taken a lot of time. But I released 2 videos recently, like a week and a half or 2 weeks ago. My goal is to do at least 1 video a week and maybe a live stream once a day, every night, every evening or so. So let me know if you guys like that idea, but this is just a normal pastel. She's not het for anything, but she is a breeder. She has a heart on the back of her neck, so she's pretty cool. Here's another super pastel het puzzle, female, breeder size. So she'll be breeding for us this year and hopefully giving us some really nice visual puzzle babies. Let's see, I miss any questions? So to anybody still here or anybody new who tuned in, thank you guys for helping us hit over 1,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel. So now we can start doing super chats. And the blessing of a super chat is that people get to donate to your business, to you as an operation, to help with whatever you need to continue the operation going. And guys, so we've had a few people donate tonight. It's simply amazing. I thank you guys for donating. Let me see if I can remember every name. I know it was Camilleones and Jay, and there was one more. Camilleones, Jay. I'm sorry, forgot the other donation, but Thurman Merman. Camilleones, Jay, and Thurman Merman. Definitely want to give you guys a shout out. Really appreciate it. If any of you guys want to have your question highlighted, just hit that donation button at the bottom of the super chat sticker, and that helps our organization out so much. We're going to put all of the proceeds and the donations towards us growing this operation so we can continue to scale the amount of animals we're working with, as well as get into an actual building front one day where we can grow our collection more and continue to bring affordable animals, high quality animals for affordable pricing. I'm going to go get some more paper towels and I will be right back. Oh, my wife bought some food and it's sitting there on the counter right now. And I'm like hungry. We've been on this chat for almost 2 hours and 45 minutes. Kudos to you guys. Thank you for tuning in. That's simply amazing. Let me know if you got any questions, you know. It doesn't have to be super chat questions. I appreciate any donations and any super stickers or whatever you want to give, but you can ask without all of that. I am not picky. I just figured I can open this up as a line of communication while I'm getting some reptile chores done tonight. For anyone who's just entering right now, I'm curious what the point of this live stream is and why I'm cleaning snake poo on this live stream. So I know it's just nice in a community to have a place to interact and especially interact live, right? And so that is why I'm doing this, is because I know it was super helpful to me to interact with more experienced keepers and breeders, or even people who are on the same level as you. Some of you guys might be on the same level as me. It's just fun to interact, see what each other's got going on, promote each other's projects, and work on projects together. It's just fun, you know? So let's see if we got any poo here. I'm glad you have reasonable prices. All the other breeders. Yeah, and that's another reason why I want to have, again, if you missed it, we want to have a lot of animals here. So we're going to be holding back a decent amount of animals this year, because the good thing about leopard geckos, within 6 to 8 months, you can breed those babies. So if we hold back more geckos this year, we're going to have a ton of breeders next year, and we're going to be producing possibly over 1,000 babies next year. And we can give, you know, really good smoking deals to people on smoking quality, because we don't want to compromise quality, right? We want the quality to be there, but we also want affordable pricing to be there. And yeah, you know, I kind of price the animals at what would I be willing to pay for this, you know? And so we do have some pretty competitive prices. Some of the quality animals that we do sell and have, people would literally be charging $100 to $200 more for, like, no lie. So, you know, I do like to kind of, I don't know if pride myself is the right thing, but kind of that's the theme that we have, that I want to bring, you know, with our hobby, with this business over here, is quality animals for quality pricing, so that the whole hobby can grow as a whole. That is our goal. I'm here to help, answer questions, you know, just be a part of the community and have you be a part of the community as well. Because that is what makes communities grow, and that is what makes people have fun, in my opinion. All right, so Super Pastel Het Puzzle Girl, she is going away. And, you know, we're going to feed these guys for another couple weeks and then start breeding them again. Start introducing males to them. So in case you don't know a little bit about us, this is our first year breeding ball pythons, and this will be our third year breeding leopard geckos. I have been in and around the hobby a little bit longer than that. You know, I've loved reptiles ever since I was a kid. I had leopard gecko. I had one leopard gecko as a kid, one bearded dragon. I had a couple Burmese pythons. I had one Argus monitor, and then I took a break for a long time. In my teenage years, into my young adult years, I didn't really have any animals. And then I slowly started getting back into them. It's crazy because my now wife, who was my girlfriend back then, she showed me a picture of a leopard gecko that her roommate had. And I was like, yeah, I know about geckos. I mean, I used to really do a lot of that, focus on a lot of that, research that. And it's funny, that's what got me back into the reptile hobby was my wife showing me a picture of her college roommate who had a leopard gecko. And I told my wife, I was like, with that picture alone, that just got me back into reptiles. Like, and then I started looking more into breeding and all that kind of stuff. And over the last 5 years, it's just developed into, wanting to make a business out of it and wanting to, take my hobby and make my specific footprint in the market, And again, high quality animals, good quality price. That is basically like our motto. And I forgot, because I was talking, to spray. Again, if you don't see the sprayer I'm using, it's this thing. Go to like the plant section at Walmart, $12. It's one of the best $12 you will ever spend. If you have a larger collection, or even if you have a small one, it will save you so much time giving water to all your animals, and especially the leopard gecko moist hides and all of that. All right, guys, this is our last adult ball python of the night, and it is the biggest. She is an 8-pound girl. She is gigantic. She is like 10 years old, fire. We did breed her, and we're hoping to get some babies from her soon. But for tonight, we need to spot clean her. Make sure she has no poo here, any shedding, any urates, which is pee. Urates is a fancy word for pee for reptiles. Glad you have reasonable prices. Jay Netherton, what is that? 3646. I'm a little confused, Jay. If you could help me understand what that message was. Were you scared when you first started breeding Leos? I was. It was very scary. That's why I OCD'd on research. I was like looking up any videos that I ever could look up on breeding Leos. But now I'm not scared about it. And I've produced a series of videos that really help newcomers out. So I have 2 specific videos on breeding, 1 video on incubation, another video on how long do eggs take to hatch? How do I temperature sex or how do I temperature set my eggs to hatch males versus hatching females? What temperature should they be set at? All of that stuff. If you'll just backtrack through my videos, I have a lot of good topics, and I try to get as much information as I can to people, because I know that when I was first researching breeding, sometimes one video isn't enough, right? So I want to create videos that contain a lot of content so you can, get a lot of your questions answered, if not all of them. So yeah, Brenda, we are still live. I mean, I'm getting close to the point where I probably need to go. I hope you guys can understand. I'm getting a little hungry, a little lightheaded. We are 2 hours and 45 minutes in, and I still have a bunch of work to do tonight. There's a lot of cleaning of the geckos that need to be done. And on top of that, breeding. Breeding takes a long time with leopard geckos, believe it or not, because you have to watch the geckos do it. You have to separate them. You have to record the data. And I will make more videos on that in the future. I want to do a live stream every single night or every couple nights if I can. So keep an eye out on our channel because I'll be trying to do live streams as much I'll be trying to do live streams as much as possible if you guys like that. And one of the benefits of live streams for us as a company, it gives us the ability to receive donations. So as you see in the live chat, if somebody wants to highlight a question, they could give a donation, or if they just want to help your company out, they could give a donation. So that's extremely helpful to a startup company like ours right now, where we are trying to get launched, trying to get more well-known, become bigger. So I appreciate all and any support. And I think we're going to do more live streams to just tune in with the community, as well as give the community an opportunity to help us grow, to partake of growth with us. So if that's something you like, let me know. I'm going to try. Some things I can't do a live stream for, or I need somebody recording me because it requires me to be focused. Like breeding, I need to be focused when I'm breeding. I can't be talking too much because I need to make sure that the animals breed. I need to make sure that I record that data accurately, make sure that I'm writing down the correct genetic combinations and all that kind of stuff. But I'll definitely be doing live streams and answering questions as much as I can, guys. Sorry, I lost you for a while, but back to Murphy's patternless. What can you breed with them to make something stupendous? I'm totally stuck on some of the morphs. Blazing, blizzards, rainwater albinos, max snows. Okay, so I do have a morph series, Brenda. I have 4 morph series. Genetics takes a long time to get into. So I might need to, because we're kind of at the end of this video, I might need to make a whole nother live stream where we talk about just genetics. But I'm trying to think of where you can go to find more on genetics. Brenda, do this if you can. I have 4 videos on morphs. Check out all 4 of those videos. Also check out the 4 videos that I have on genetics. So it's 8 videos total. It explains in there everything you need to know about genetics, and it explains in there a decent amount of all the morphs in the leopard gecko world. And then after that, genetics takes a long time to get into. So after that, please try to come back to another live stream. And I will try to do a live stream that is like just focused on genetics. I'll actually label it genetics. And anyone with genetics questions, we can like kind of chop it up then. So Murphy's patternless is a recessive gene. It's important that whenever you breed a recessive gene, you breed it to the same recessive genetic, or else you're only going to get hets or possible hets. So you know what might be better, Brenda, is if you email me, geekygeckocreations@gmail.com, or message me on Facebook or Instagram, start a communication with me back and forth, because I'm kind of at the end of this live stream. I need to go grab some food and then start breeding for the geckos. But if you start a communication with me on email or on Messenger or Instagram, I'll answer every single one of your questions and we'll figure this thing out together. Even if you need to call me personally and set up like a time where you and I actually get on the phone with each other and talk it through, I'm okay with that. It's tough for me to do it right now because we're just about 3 hours into this, and I have some more cleaning and breeding to do tonight, so I hope you understand. But message me, geekygecko.creations@gmail.com, and we'll set a time up where I can reserve like an hour slot for you, and we can like have an actual phone conversation, and I can like walk you through everything, as well as doing more live streams that are at the beginning of the live stream where I'll have more to talk about with genetics, Oh man, guys, I'm so tired and exhausted. That was a lot of talking. Yeah, message me for sure. Thank you very much. Anyone who has questions, message me. And if I need to have a phone conversation with you, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with giving you a call and talking it over. So please, geekygecko.creations@gmail.com, or look us up, Geeky Gecko Creations, on Instagram or Facebook. If you message me, I will respond. Sometimes I don't see it, so just message me again if I don't get back to you within a day. But I will respond. I appreciate it. I need to get some food in me. I'm a little bit lightheaded right now. I just want to shout out everybody for the super chats again. Jay, Chameleones, and Thurman Merman. Thank you guys so much for being 3 of the first people to super chat us. Thank you to everyone else who was asking questions, because your questions are very important as well. And so I just want to shout you guys out. So I appreciate it, guys. I will say goodnight for now. I think that's what's in my best interest because of the tasks that I still have to do and get some food in me. But thank you guys. Much love. I appreciate your guys' support. I will try to do another live stream tomorrow night. So I'll be here for another like 2 to 3 hours. And I'm also going to try to shoot some videos. Let me know topics that you want to know about. I'm going to do baby setup. I'm going to do maybe another like all of the morphs that exist in leopard geckos video kind of thing, you know? So I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you. Have a good night. Get some food, get some water in you if you haven't yet. Enjoy your animals. I've enjoyed your guys' company. I hope you enjoy being here with everybody. And I'll try to provide more live streams like this so that we can all tune in together and interact together. So thank you guys so much. Love you guys. Have a good night. And I'll see you next time. And as someone pointed out to me before, have a geeky gecko great day. That's my hook and line right there. So I appreciate you guys. Have a good night.